In 2003 and 2004, at the height of the conflict between the government and the separatist group GAMT, martial law was imposed, and the whole place was really very quiet. Foreigners were banned from visiting. However, in 2004, it was downgraded to a civilian emergency, so tourists had to come back. Bulawayo is shaped like a W and is popular name among the foreign tourists, Western tourists especially. But its administrative name is actually Sabang, the island's main town. The earthquake of December 26, 2004 led to the creation of a devastating tsunami wave that immediately began to spread in all directions, especially in the east-west direction. The country closest to the epicenter was Indonesia, rather its northwestern island of Sumatra, within the province of Aceh, with a distance of only 160 kilometers from the site of the tremor. The wave traveled the first 120 kilometers towards Indonesia in just 10 minutes, located on a flat coastal plain between two rainforest-covered hills overlooking a large bay. The wave reached the shores of Aceh approximately 20 minutes after the tremor. To understand the anatomy of the tsunami, it basically spread in the deep ocean as an inconspicuous wave crest with a height of a few meters at a speed of around 800 kilometers per hour, approximately 40 kilometers offshore. The coastal shelf began to rise, and the wave began to rub more strongly against the ever-rising bottom. This caused its considerable slowdown, but also its head game. Gradually, a wall of water approximately 30 meters high and 200 meters wide was formed. As the earth shook, the sea immediately receded temporarily, revealing massive coral reefs. Approximately 20 minutes later, huge black waves about 35 meters high appeared on the distant horizon. The first wave came very quickly, a floating mass of water about 2.5 meter height. The second and third waves were between 20 and 35 meters high. By the time they reached the shore, they looked like gigantic waves suitable for surfing, but to quote, taller than coconut palms and the size of a small mountain. The tsunami washed ashore large ships and destroyed a cement mining facility near the Lumber Coast, where the tsunami reached the fourth story of a building. All infrastructure in the area was destroyed. Approximately 6,000 people died. The wave then reached very northern tip of the Aceh, where the provincial capital Bandar Aceh was, where population of 250,000 is located. Here, an interesting phenomenon was encountered that there's a deflection of this island in the path of the tsunami that absorbed much of its energy from the west wave. Thanks to the deflection, the encircled island intensified its effect and hit the city from this northwesterly direction. So in a way, it helps. The inhabitants were caught completely unprepared, most of them trying to get their loved ones out of the aftershocks, unaware of the destruction that was coming. Local eyewitnesses described the arrival of the three large waves, with the first wave slightly inundating the sea and rising to the foundation of coastal buildings, following a few minutes later by a sudden massive retreat of the sea at the port. A few minutes later, two large black-colored steep waves appeared. Eyewitnesses described the tsunami as Black Giant, a mountain and a wall of water. The height of the waves when they reach the shore is estimated at 20 meters. And it's therefore clear that the coastal district was swept away with an enormous force. Although the people make a frantic escape, within minutes the wave swept into the city, destroying 80% of the buildings in an instant, killing about 10,000 people and reaching a distance of 5 kilometers from the coast inland. The waves continued to devastate entire areas to the north, towns, villages, forest fields, and disappeared in the blink of an eye.
Although people made a frantic escape, within minutes, the wave swept into the city, our loved ones out of the aftershocks, unaware of the destruction that was coming. Local eyewitnesses described the arrival of three large waves, with the first wave slightly inundating the sea and rising to the foundations of coastal buildings, followed a few minutes later by a sudden and massive retreat of the sea at the port of Yuli-Lue. A few minutes later, two large, black-colored, steep waves appeared. Eyewitnesses described the tsunami as a black giant, a mountain, and a wall of water. The height of the waves when they reach the shore is estimated at 20 meters, and it's therefore clear that the coastal districts were swept away with enormous force. Video footage taken by an eyewitness shows torrents of black water rushing through the windows of a two-story residential neighborhood located a whopping 3.2 kilometers inland. Amateur footage shot in the middle of the city additionally captured water gushing through the city streets. The depth of the water current in the city was at the second floor level. Witness footage also showed the Asek River flowing back in a strong current, carrying large amounts of debris and people from destroyed villages on the coast. This debris was found up to 40 kilometers inland. Especially in the northwestern parts of the city, the level of destruction was extreme, as these photos show. The tsunami claimed approximately 60,000 lives in the city. In total, the tsunami in Indonesia claimed 168,000 lives and caused enormous damage to property and the economy of the entire region. Damage has now been repaired, and the city of Banda Aceh has undergone significant modernization. Unfortunately, however, it is ill prepared for the next tsunami. Warning systems have been installed, but passive protection in the form of massive breakwaters, such as those in Japan, for example, is still lacking. The horrors of the 2004 tsunami are commemorated by several memorials that remind of this worst disaster in Indonesian history.